buddy. What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, there we go. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live weekend, Saturday morning edition. And I think we've got a couple good tidbits for you guys today. As we all know, hey, the Detroit Lions have come on out. They played their first preseason game. And what can we make of it? Can we say, hey, this was good, this was not? We're going to kind of break that all down. But as you can tell from the thumbnail for today's particular video, we've got a little bit of insider information. Talking to a lot of my, former colleagues in national media or whatever, Detroit Lions-based media, Detroit area media. I don't know however you want to word that. Yesterday in Discord, talking to them about a few things, giving them some tidbits on some stock stuff, and they threw me a bone in return, saying that a number of them agreed that the Lions have a couple areas of not concern, but places the Detroit Lions should potentially look to make additions to in this still off-season, preseason, whatever you want to call it, training camp area of the season. They do believe one of them went specifically out and said that he believes the Lions are going to make an acquisition attempt when we get a little bit closer to the regular season. So we're going to dive into all that, get the Duke Crew's thoughts on all the above, see what you guys have to say about it. But before we do, you guys all know the drill. We've got a couple of real quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 50 subs away from 7,200. So if you can help make that work for us by subscribing, help us achieve the goal of 7,200, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, while you're watching the content on the channel and this video, if you would be so kind, it's free of charge. Takes a half second of time. Hit that thumbs up button. Helps the channel out a lot. We try to get every video to 200 to 300 or more thumbs up, likes, or whatever, because it helps get the information out to more people who have not discovered Lions Talk Live. Last but not least, I am a working individual, and if you are looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the United States, let alone the great state of Michigan where I reside, give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's have a quick conversation, see what I can do to save you some money, make the process a whole lot easier, more streamlined in regards to buying either personal property, vacant land, commercial building, whatever it may be, whatever your needs are. Go ahead and give me a call and shoot me a text. If it's a survival shelter, you can go ahead and contact me as well. I do specialize, and I'm one of 3 people in the United States licensed to evaluate fallout shelters. So go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. Let's see what we can do for you. All right, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the first set of information for you guys today, and that'd be 5 headlines now, and then we'll roll on over into the main topic of the day. Real quick, though, before I forget about it, I am not going to be able to do a full hour today. I've got some coaching things I have to do this morning, and I've got to get out to the great area of Paw Paw, Michigan to do that, so I got to give myself a little extra time. All right, without further ado, let's get into 5 headlines now. All right, 5 headlines now. Let's go to the top and get going through this. So here we go. Quote, small victories, end quote, for Lions remain confident in Jake Bates. Sports Illustrated, story by John Macron. Macron covers the Lions. As you guys know, this is what he does for a living for multiple different media outlets. I would say this, one of the big victories most Lions fans would talk about from the first preseason game, and they're going to be, obviously not everybody's going to agree, but one of the ones that I would think most of us would talk about is Jake Bates. Clearly, his leg strength is there. You could hear Lomas Brown talk about it. Was it yesterday on the radio? You heard multiple other people, whether you're a Lions fan or a New York broadcaster, all say the same thing. Without question, the Lions have the guy with the biggest leg in the NFL. Also, without a question, you've got the guy with maybe the most question marks regarding kicking. Will you feel confident if you're Dan Campbell himself and say, hey, game's on the line, I'm putting this guy out there to kick it and win it for us? And that's probably, to be fair, a good question mark based on the last 2 weeks of training camp. We all get the reports. He struggled a bit, but he mashed that one from 53 yards in obviously the inclement weather at Giants Stadium. And somebody reported that they measured it, did the tracking on the ball. It would have been good from about 66 yards. So that's no small feat. The fact that he banged that thing through from 53 and it had that much extra room, man, the kid does have some upside. Will he make the team? I'm going to say right now, unless he really just falls on his face the rest of the way, they're not bringing in somebody else to contest him. At least they haven't so far. I'm thinking they've got a lot of faith in Jake Bates. All right, former Illinois wide receiver Isaiah Williams makes case for a roster or spot with the Detroit Lions. This is from SI.com. Their division devoted to the Fighting, to the Fighting Illinois. I forget actually what the Illinois' mascot is, but you get it. Their portion devoted to Illinois University. Story by Chandrell Richardson. So I would say most of us watching probably took note of Williams, Isaiah Williams during Thursday night's game. For all the offseason, rookie OTAs, etc., we've heard nothing but praise about this guy because he's done very well, among other Lions wide receivers like Darius Fountain and a couple other guys. But Williams, to me, you guys heard me mention this before on the show, he makes a lot of sense as the number 6 wide receiver because he can also be your emergency quarterback. Not going to say he's going to be an NFL star at quarterback or anything like that, but most of the time, your emergency quarterback isn't the greatest. There might be a case from some Lions fans that he's already better than our current number 2 depth chart guy, and that'd be Nate Sudfeld. I can't wait to see some of your comments in the comments section after that. But Isaiah Williams, do I think he's in a legitimate chance or shot to make the 53? At this point, I do. Let's see what you guys have to say about it. See, Giants quarterback Locke injures hip in preseason opener against Lions. Detroit quarterback Hooker has concussion. This is from the AP Wire, my former employer, Associated Press. So I would also say this to you guys. There's no news or updates that I've seen in regards to Hendon Hooker's current status. Now, keep in mind, though, the team had the day off yesterday. They're going to have the day off today. They will resume practices, workouts, and everything tomorrow. So we should get an official update. It would be my anticipation, at least tomorrow sometime. If I was guessing, Hooker's probably cleared to go, return to the field. I don't know. It could be a full 7 days unless he had a really severe concussion. But my guess is he's probably back out there around Tuesday. Now, the question, if that comes to fruition, does Hendon Hooker resume quarterback play in the next preseason game? I'm hoping he does, because I think most casual observers would say Hooker seemed vastly better than what we saw out of Nate the Great Sudfeld. So we'll see. All right, next, Detroit Lions observation. Sony Vaki steals the show as Hendon Hooker visits medical tent. This is from Detroit Free Press's Sean Windsor, a long-time beat reporter. I won't get into that. But Vaki, if you watch him run, I think if you watch the preseason game, everybody wanted to see Hooker and a lot of the younger guys. You got to see Sion Vaki, and I will say this, man, he cuts, and he cuts hard. He cuts with some aggression and assertiveness most rookie running backs do not have. Some of his jump cuts I thought were very, very good. And I know when we were watching it on air, broadcasting it, a lot of you guys made mention of it. I like him. I think he's a real potential to be the number 3 running back on the depth chart, and maybe even kind of have him and Gibbs split the same role of being able to split out to the number 3 wide receiver, or motion out, I should say, to the number 3 wide receiver on certain plays. So I like the kid. I think what we saw out of him was great Thursday night. Now, the one area I would say him and most rookie running backs run into is blocking assignment responsibilities. We're going to have to see a little bit more out of him. But so far, I would say the early returns on this kid are, hey, we got a steal right there. All right, next is Lions lose offensive line depth, Lions lose depth on offensive line after preseason game injury. This is for Connor Galvin's season is done. And this is from Clutch Points. So if you don't know, he has a tear of the MCL. He's going to more than likely miss the entire season. In fact, right now they're forecasting he will miss potentially the entire season. It's unfortunate because this guy, undrafted rookie a year ago, made the team, got in, I think, one game, maybe two. Somebody can look that up and let me know. But that sounds about right, 1 or 2 games. A lot of potential out of this kid. So even though he's hurt and he's injured, he can still put him on the IR, get him fully healed. The team's probably going to look to add some old line depth would be my anticipation. We've had a number of injuries in those backup spots already this year. And then Kevin Zettler is obviously still dealing with a shoulder injury he sustained the first week of the training camp. So I won't be surprised if we see some waiver wire moves from the Lions either now or before the season begins. All right, let's go on to the next topic of the day, and that will be the NFC North news of the day. So let's get to that right now. All right, NFC North news. Here we go. Caleb Williams will make his NFL debut for the Chicago Bears on Saturday versus the Bills. This is from Trojan Wire, one of the greatest campus reporting institutions there is. Trojan Wire, obviously USC related, so I'm going to give them a plug and shout out anytime I can. Caleb Williams, I think there's a lot of word coming out of Chicago that he is struggling a little bit with certain aspects of the game. He's going to go through the same stuff you see every NFL rookie quarterback go through. And it'll be interesting if you're going to watch the game today. It'll be interesting, even if you're a Lions fan, just to get an idea how he's progressing. I'm going to personally watch the Olympics. I'm going to cheer on Team USA in the gold medal round of the basketball. So maybe I'll have a split screen and watch them both. I wish nothing but well for Caleb Williams other than whenever he plays the Detroit Lions. I hope he falls on his face every time that happens. But if you're a Lions fan, doesn't want to watch the Olympics or whatever, or maybe other stuff, go ahead and check this out. See how he's reading and progressing. It's my guess he gets a half, but don't hold me to that. Maybe they only give him a drive or two. All right, Minnesota Vikings, Darnold, McCarthy, and Turner get in action. First preseason game. Key things to watch, CBS Sports. Johnny Carr got this report, so breaks down. If you want to go ahead and check out the article, he goes ahead and breaks down a bunch of things leading into the Minnesota Vikings' first preseason game, all the do's and don'ts, what to watch, etc. So if you want a little bit of behind enemy lines information, go and check out this story. All right, can't wait to get out there. Green Bay Packers prep for a preseason opener against the Cleveland Browns, and this is from one of their local media outlets, FRV of Green Bay. Check it out. Not a huge news thing by any stretch of the imagination. But again, if you're looking for a little bit of information behind enemy lines on either one of the 3 NFC North teams, go ahead and check out these stories and get you caught up. All right, without further ado, let's get over to the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day, as you guys can tell from the thumbnail for the video, they have a glaring hole at 2 key positions per multiple Lions insiders. Does the team need to address this sooner versus later or not at all? Let's get your thoughts, but here it is. So I was told the 2 main spots that the Lions need to address in these reporters' opinions were offensive line depth and backup quarterback spot. I think everybody watching the show would say, even if you're a little cautiously optimistic about the Lions season, we've got a real opportunity to go out and win the Super Bowl this year. But because of the backup quarterback spot, there are some people that are questioning whether or not if Goff should unforeseeably go down for an injury, miss some games or whatever, basically can Nate Sudfeld or Hendon Hooker go out there and right the ship, hold things down until Goff would be able to return. And right now, it's just the general consensus is the Lions do not have, even if Hooker develops exponentially in the next 2 preseason games before the regular season, he would not be ready to achieve that. He's a good guy. We can all see a lot of potential with him. Yes, Thursday night, he looked like he was 1,000 miles ahead of Nate Sudfeld. So let's Scooby-Doo this real quick. I think everybody's going to say, hey, Nate Sudfeld shouldn't be here come the regular season. unless he's, in a coaching capacity or something. He doesn't bring anything to the table. Hendon Hooker brings a lot to the table, but he's going to need time to develop. Could he pull a Tom Brady where, hey, this rookie kid comes on in off the bench, rights the ship, takes the team all the way to Super Bowl? Absolutely, it's possible. But I would say the mathematics behind that happening just aren't strong. So you have a lot of beat reporters, and to be fair, probably some other people in the national media have come out and said the Lions this season preseason should go out and try to actively pursue a veteran quarterback who has some established victories behind them, in some capacity, going out there and performing in the game under stress, pressure, etc. just won't be a big thing for him. Ryan Tannehill's name's been floated out there, man, a ton. And I get it. He would probably make a lot of sense. But it would also relate to me that per these sources, that they believe if the Lions are going to make that move, it would be basically with about a week to go before the regular season. I asked why would that be? They all said the same thing. Because anybody who's that caliber of a backup quarterback is really, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not going to say it's right, but I get you got to protect yourself. They're watching the entire league, that backup quarterback, somebody with that kind of ability. And if some starting or projected starting quarterback goes down with a knee injury, going to be out for the season, they know they're going to get a phone call from that team about, hey, trying to salvage their season, and they get a chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL one more time to try to earn a bigger paycheck in the future. So I get that from a selfish standpoint why Ryan Tannehill, or maybe there's a couple other guys that are fitting that boat. But I also get what they're saying about 1 week to go. Hey, if I haven't got that phone call, somebody hasn't gotten hurt, now I'm looking to sign a backup quarterback contract with a potential Super Bowl team just for that opportunity. The other part is I mentioned the depth on the offensive line. So let's break this down too. They all went out and said, hey, Giovanni, they were surprised the Lions even put him on the field. And yes, he didn't do horribly, but you don't also want him out there with any kind of, put it this way, if he's out there blocking and Jared Goff is out on the field, there's a real high opportunity Jared Goff is going to take a significant hit or two if, Giovanni Manu is out there blocking. It's nothing against the kid. Is he ready for prime time yet? I think most of us say no. So the Lions are stuck with a situation with him and a couple of the other younger guys. Scoresdale probably falls in that mix too. If you you're going to have to keep him on the active roster, because if you put him on the practice squad, they're going to get snatched up by somebody on another team. If you put him on the IR, now you're losing the opportunity to really work with them for the entire season. So it's a catch-22. You almost have to keep those guys on the active roster so they can be developed, which is, I think most are going to say that's why Manu was drafted. He's got all the physical tools. He's got everything in the world you could not teach in a player. Now what you have to do is you have to get him constant repetitions with, Hank Fraley and all the other coaches to get him to be where you ultimately believe he can. And the only way to achieve that is keep him on the 53. Scoresdale, same thing. And there's a lot of other guys. We all get it. The depth on the offensive line is young. It's raw. It's not in a position where it's, great right now. When I talked about watching the first two practices with the Giants and watching some of that tape, I brought up a ton about the interior offensive line. So the backup center, the guards, to me, that's a real weakness for this team. You could see it with the points I brought up from watching the film. It came through in the preseason game. You could just see the exacerbated situation anytime the Lions try to run the ball inside the tackles. Those guys could not hold nor maintain gap integrity. So anytime the backs tried to come up the middle, they were just getting blasted. Now, when the Lions went to pulls where some of the athleticism for those interior offensive linemen showed up more, then I thought they were actually pretty decent. And you guys, obviously have your own takes, throw them in there. But I thought anytime the Lions interior line pulled and went into motion, they looked pretty good. Just a standard, drop back, block and create the A gap, B gap, C gap. Those weren't there. And it's probably going to be an issue for the Detroit Lions until some of these younger guys do develop a little bit, unless they go out and acquire some more depth. So that's what the multiple insiders gave me. I've got about 10 or 15 minutes till I got to get out of here. So let's real quick go over to the Do Crew, see what you guys have to say on these points. All right, let me scroll up to the top. Get to the top of the comment section because I see there's a few. All right, JDC, good morning all. Good morning to you too. Mike D, let's see. Greetings and salutations, Coach Duke Crew! Exclamation points. Super Bowl or bust. One pride. Woo! Woo! And you know what? The first woos of the show just for you. 1,000%, my friend. 1,000%. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. The only holes here are in my head. I see Super Bowl. Woo! And good morning to you too, Bo. Jess, what's going on, Duke Crew? Question mark. I'm thinking the team. I'm liking the team all around. Always room for growth, though. Yeah, and like every NFL team, do you really get the impression Brad Holmes is going to sit flat and not do anything else to the team the rest of the year? I think most of us watching would say, nah, that's not happening. He's going to be watching the waiver wire when it happens. Guys get cut. I know a bunch of you shot me a message, and sorry I wasn't able to respond to him yesterday about Juju Smith getting cut from New England. We'll see if the Lions bring him in. I don't think they would. He did have a great start to his career. Since then, he's been kind of mud, but who knows? Maybe somebody else sees something in him. I do believe the Lions will be looking for offensive line depth when the situation arises, when everybody cuts down to 53. The question becomes, I think Skipper's a lock to make the team. And I already said Manu, Scoresdale. So right there, you've got 8 offensive linemen. You're probably only keeping 9. But if you could get one more really sound interior offensive lineman, that would help out a ton, in my opinion, at least. All right, buddy. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Group. Back at you, buddy. I'll be heading your way, not to your place, but out to Pawpaw here in, I don't know, about a half hour or so. See, Clark, what is up, you wild and crazy kids? Question mark. Keep the team developing and healthy is all I ask out of the meaningless games. Yeah, I mean, they're meaningless as far as the results. For the opportunity to grow or develop some of these players, that's probably about where the extent of the meaning lies with the games. See, Bo, there seems to be a bit of panic out there based on the first preseason. Who thinks this is warranted? I don't think there should be any panic, but I do think the good aspect of it, like we kind of already mentioned, is just it's an evaluation process. It's really just practice, these preseason games. I have no doubt in some time in the not so distant future, the NFL is just going to get rid of them. And I think they're going to go more to the college format where, hey, you've got a 20-game regular season. Your division games aren't going to be until week 9 of the year. The first couple of games, hey, they're basically those are your preseason games. They just happen to count. So, we'll see what shakes out. But I've given you guys my thoughts. I think per the insiders, backup quarterback and offensive line are where the Lions need to try to address some growth or development, whether that's on the field development or addition from other players. That's, I guess, where the question lies. Buddy, let Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell take care of the problems we still have. 100% there, 100%. Trust in them because they should have earned all of our trust by now. See, Eddie, greetings and salutations. Every team is going to have a lack of depth somewhere. My assumption is ours is offensive line depth. I would agree with that. It does seem like that seems to be the consensus. And not that these guys can't evolve into something more. It's just they're not there yet. See, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. Good morning to you too, my friend. And just for you, I'll give you a Sheila. There you go now. All right, France, good evening all. Any official word on how long Hooker is down? None that I've heard yet, but that's also because the team's been off since the preseason game against the Giants. So I got a suspicion we'll hear something tomorrow. See, Bo, given the whole preseason, our offensive line depth is sure to develop under a veteran leadership we have. Yeah, Frank Haley, I think you want to know if your head coach and GM has a lot of praise, a lot of respect for you. If they keep giving you guys that are raw, like they keep giving Frank Haley, that aren't coached up, that hey, haven't played at a high level or whatever, but they consistently seem to be giving them guys that have all the physical tools, they just don't have the technical. I think that's a strong sign they believe that much in Frank Haley. All right, buddy, hopefully Hooker develops a little better before game 1. Yeah, I think he will. And again, as long as he's clear to play, I would be putting him out there a ton, just letting him know, hey, you got concussed on another running play. We all get you got some wheels, but either A, you got to get down and slide, or B, you got to just focus on the passing aspect. We all get, in the future, you can take off and run, but for right now, we got to protect you and keep you growing as far as progressing through plays from the QB spot. See, AJ, good morning. Good morning to you too. See, Darcy, who's got it better than us? No one. I concur with that. It's going to be hard to find a team better than this one. See, buddy, I thought concussion protocol was 7 days. It can be, but it can also be reduced if you clear all the protocols and all the independent survey plus the team medical department. So everybody's going to be different, but I do believe it is 7 days. Let's see, Trey, what's good, y'all? Question mark. I'm liking our defense and the depth there as a whole. Personally speaking only, I think we are going to be dangerous on that side of the ball this season. I agree. I think our defensive front and our secondary are pretty dang good. And because we can cover so much while generating pressure, I think there's a real opportunity. I know we talked about yesterday, Greater Metro Detroit is giving out free French fries for every interception the Lions get this season. I foresee a lot of French fries being given out in Metro Detroit. See, buddy, KC game might mean more of a suck field. Yes. No! Exclamation points. And, yeah, I get he's not really embraced by the fandom right now. So I will say this for Nate Sudfeld. His stock can really only go up at this point. I don't think it can be any lower. Is he the next Tim Boyle? I don't know, but I'm not sure what it is with there's one thing I would question about this organization is some of the backup quarterback people they've had on the team. Tim Boyle, I think anybody watching can say this guy is not good, but the team was very loyal to him. Nate Sudfeld seems to be the next guy too. So I don't know why they're so entwined with these guys, but they are. And maybe they're seeing something the rest of us aren't. I guess I'll go with that. See, Stephanie, good morning, boys. Listening only today while working. Have a great weekend all. Same to you, Stephanie. Hopefully you have an easy day at work. See, Robert, greetings and salutations. Back at you. Buddy, you pull them speeders over, Stephanie. There you go. Buddy, it's good to be retired. 100%. 100%. Although I don't know that yet. See, Steve, good morning, Coach Dan, and and good morning to the crew. My guess is the glaring hole would be offensive line and wide receiver. Yeah, offensive line popped up. Receivers surprisingly did not, but I would say, there were some good things with the wide receivers. I just wasn't blown away with any of them. But again, maybe with the weather, maybe with the quarterback play, maybe there's a couple things that we're just not evaluating correctly. Maybe this next preseason game, things will be a little bit better and we'll have a little bit more faith. I get Isaiah Williams kind of popped out. Fountain did okay. Donovan Peoples-Jones, man, I don't know, man. I think he's on the struggle bus making this team, which opens up the door for somebody else. All right, Stephanie, laughing out loud. Will do, buddy. There you go. Broski, I read the thumbnail and said, you are quoting Broski Bear here. I've been saying this for months now. 1, defensive end. 2, wide receiver. I also believe having a second quality starting defensive tackle is another hole. Respectfully, Broski, that's where you and I may have different opinions on this. Wide receiver, I don't think is as bad as most of us would anticipate, especially since I look at it this way. St. Brown is upper echelon in the NFL. You've got everybody and their mother reporting, even the Giants representation saying Jameson Williams is going to be a problem this year. So when you're starting to get it from other opposing media and coaches, then I start thinking there's probably a lot of validity to Jameson Williams having a great season. Most teams don't have 3 stud receivers. You got 2 there. Now the question is, who's the third man up for Detroit? I think a lot of that's going to come down to situations or setups. Cleve Raymond, we all get it. He's more than capable to be out there. Is he going to be the every down wide receiver 3? Probably not. Do I think Gibbs is going to spend some times out there? Yes, I do. Do I think, as far as somebody else merging into that spot, at least being in the conversation for number 3 or 4, that's where I'd say, yeah, the Lions have some good younger parts that could potentially form into that. But, with you factor in Gibbs, you factor in Cleve Raymond, you factor in that's now 4 guys. Who else emerges for your 4th, 5th, 6th? I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then what else you got here? As far as second starting defensive tackle, I think they're there. I think the Lions have a lot of strength there. In regards to the other defensive end, I've said this before. I believe the Lions are basically playing 3 defensive tackles or big ends up there and letting the linebackers roam, blitz, etc. That's why I do think you got some potential for Lee McNeil, DJ Reader, probably Levi to be the starting defensive line, along with Hutchinson, 3 linebackers, and those linebackers opposite whoever's going to be the Mike are probably blitzing a lot with the three defensive ends. So Levi, DJ, and Leem basically playing a 3-4 setup for the most part, kind of a hybrid 3-4. All right, I went on too long with that. Broski, obviously the Lions don't have a legit backup quarterback either. Yeah, I'd say there's some questions about that at this point. See, buddy, I'd say offensive line, wide receiver, and maybe quarterback depth. Yeah, all those I think are probably in question. I think you got some pieces that can potentially develop into something more, but I could also understand if the Lions want to go out and acquire somebody who's a little bit more veteran in a couple of those spots as well. Lions fan, good morning all. Let's try to share the chat a bit more. In my view, some of us tend to dominate it. There could be a lot of truth to that. So yeah, if you guys can, try to self-moderate a little bit. A couple things about the show. We don't talk about politics. I don't want to talk about religion. If I catch you doing that, I'm gonna put you in timeout. So if you watch the show for a while, those should be no-fly zones. So please be respectful. And as far as the chat, try not to put 29 posts up in a row before some other people even put 1 or 2 up there. All right, Broski, the Zettler signing was questionable. Lions might be lacking a legit starting guard as well. I think Zettler is more than capable of starting, Broski, and I get you are going to have a different opinion since you're a Bears fan, but I think he's going to be more than capable and be a pretty good addition to the team. See, Steve, I have to agree with you, Broski. The backup quarterback looks a little shaky right now. Although Hooker has potential, he might not be ready. Yeah, I think we're all in the same agreement there. Hooker's got all the tools, but you got to be fair to a rookie quarterback. It's going to take time for them to learn. I don't care if you're Caleb Williams or Tommy Gunn or whoever. You're going to need a little time to learn how to play quarterback at the NFL level. Heck, you heard Patrick Mahomes. I want to say it was like last week. He was on some radio interview and talking about it. He said he couldn't read NFL coverages or defenses really until his 3rd or 4th season. Before that, he was just out there wheeling and dealing and relying a ton on Andy Reid to make those adjustments for him. At that point, he had enough experience where things started falling into place. And see, Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. I want to see more of that Vaki and Wingo Williams, too. Yeah, I think all three of them turns a lot of heads, put in some good performances. The preseason game number 1. Now let's keep that going forward, keep them growing and developing before the first regular season game. Lions Fanatic Berg time. Good morning, Bergs. Good to see you as always. Good morning, Dan and the Duke Crew. Backup quarterback, 3rd wide receiver, and offensive line are issues, but hopefully get addressed. I think they will, man, either from just progression and development or addition. Good morning, Matt says Burger time. Broski, Steve, what about defensive end? After Hutchinson, do you really have an NFL caliber starting defensive end on the roster? I would say yes, we do. I think Davenport, Houston is going to be, I know they're going to play him, and they did play him a ton at linebacker preseason game 1, but he's going to be out there. I also think you've got some other guys that are going to emerge. So that's just my opinion. All right, Bo, now that I've watched highlights of Hendon Hooker, I'm not sure of what he was when he was concussed. On a running play, according to MCDC, he took a hit to the head, and that's when it happened. And see, Voltron, good morning. I hope Hooker is good to go by the next game so they can give him all the snaps. Nate wasn't great at all to me. No, I'd say most people would agree. Nate Sudfeld, man, maybe he can resurrect everybody's opinion of him after the next preseason game, but right now it's pretty low. Let's see, Big Daz, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Don't know why they haven't signed a vet quarterback already. It's plain to see we need anybody. Yeah, and I don't know if you heard me talk about it. I'm assuming you did, Big Daz, but I think it sounds like a lot of the stronger veteran quarterbacks are waiting until about a week before the regular season because they're all hoping somebody goes down, somebody gets hurt, and now they can be the starting quarterback of an NFL team. So that seems to be the case. JDC, Bo, I think it happened on his first big scramble, but I think he bounced back the back of his bean to the turf at the end of the run. Yeah, it could be. I don't know which specific play it was, so you guys might be right with that, JDC. Hey, man, good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew. Finally able to make a morning show live. Well, good to see you, my friend, as always. Hey, always great to have you in the chat. See, Hoogadoo, Heek, all right. Buddy, Tannehill wants to be a starter, not a backup. Yeah, he does, man, and that's what he's holding out for. But, you get a week from the regular season. There's no spots open. That's where I think you can snag him and get him as a backup. See, Bo, JDC, he played a bit after that one. He did, man, so maybe they didn't get that he was concussed until later on. See, Hookadoo, hey, Burger, good morning. There you go. Steve Rogers, so could the weakness be receiver? Question mark. I would put that on the list. hey, if we could add one more legit wide receiver, I think everybody would be happy with it. Now, whether or not the coaching staff feels that way and the front office, that's another thing. See, JDC, yes, he did play after that Bo. All right. Big Daz, Hooker looked all right, but if we need somebody to step in for Goff for a few games, we're sunk. Yeah, I think most people are in agreement with that. See, Sosimo, woo! Morning to you too. Hookadoo, good morning, Dan, the Fastic Dude crew. Go Lions, back at you, Hookadoo. Buddy, woo! Dude crew, 100%, all exclamation points. Hatman, sitting here drinking my coffee. Hey, have some good ones. Broski, Big Daz, so how is Hooker all right then if you can't rely on him to be a legit backup? Man, you can say that about every rookie quarterback there, Broski, including Caleb Williams. Phil, doo, 100%. And Matthew, good morning, bird time. JDC, woo, coffee, and the coffee that you drink while listening to Lions Talk Live. We'll go with that. JDC, woo, there you go. Phil, who would be the ultimate backup to Goff, ? And available to sign with Lions? Depends on who you ask, but I know a lot of people are saying Ryan Tannehill, and I get it. He's got a ton of starts in the league. He's won playoff games. He's probably going to be near the top of the list, I would guess. Let's see, Hatman, drink a little smoke, drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke, woo, and we'll go with that. Ken, good morning, Duke crew, woo, all right. Brosi, JDC, ? Buddy, get Bridgewater. Yeah, man, can he get him back? Probably not. It sounds like he's pretty happy coaching where he's coaching now. See, Big Daz might want to try to get Bridgewater back. Maybe you can. Phil, too early for a party. Coffee in a warm, relaxing, easy chair. There you go. Good way to start the day. Bo, let's see, get down tonight. 100%. JDC, yes. Erie, okay. Puff. All right, there you go. Hatman puffing away. Matthew, I think they were waiting to see where Hooker was before pulling the trigger on another quarterback. Ryan Tannehill would be good, but he wants to start. He does. JDC, tick, Lions Talk Live. Courtney, Adrian Martinez, that's a thought. Just want to, didn't he just win the UFL championship? Knows Lions playbook. There you go. That's actually a pretty good thought right there. Could you bring him in? I got to imagine he would be at least the equal, if not better, than Nate the Great. See, Broski, Iffy's haircut is a little iffy, and he is as his play on the field. I'd say his play on the field was pretty dang good last year, Broski. Let's see, Bo A. Martinez is with the Jets. Okay, well, we'll take him off the board. Burger time. Good morning, Hookadoo. Grice, what do you got? Juju Smith-Schuster is now available. Could it be that they go that way? It is possible. Courtney, snooze, you lose. Thanks, Bo. Yeah, thanks, Bo. There you go. Doug, 702, a Lions fan here for Lions Talking Live. Hope you guys get it all figured out. Yes, Doug, we will try to get it all figured out. See, Bo, yeah, yes, Courtney. Let's see, Matthew, let's see, Zettler was an upgrade, not a questionable pickup. No, I would agree. I think Zettler, it's no disrespect to Jonah Jackson. I think Zettler's just better, especially when it comes to the pass blocking aspect of things. I think you could safely say that Jonah Jackson is pretty dang good in the run blocking, probably better than Zettler there. But I think between both guys, you're splitting hairs a little bit. See, Casey, good morning from Northern Michigan. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully I'm having a great one. Amy, good morning. Dan of the Duke crew, ready for a hot coffee, ! Hopefully everyone will have a great weekend. Go Lions. Woo! And good morning to you, Amy. Stay warm. Stay happy. See, Hatman Broski, at least they won't stay in the basement like the Bears. Ooh, shots being fired. Bo, good morning, Casey. Matthew, Bridgewater is too busy coaching now. Correct. Buddy, Pawpaw rules. Couldn't agree more. Let's see, JDC, to the victors go the spoils. Go Lions. I agree with that. Amy, please don't forget to give a thumbs up. Thank you for that. Bo. Let's see, Buddy, me and Moodscar live there. Yes, you do. And I do coach there. See, Broski, Matthew Grice, a 34-year-old guard coming off injury isn't questionable. I mean, Broski, some of these comments, man, they're just kind of over the top, man. Look at the Bears team. You got how many guys coming off injuries? Come on, man. Try to be reasonable. See, Matthew, Jake Bates just needs the coaching, and he missed during college. Yeah, let's all try to remember with Jake Bates, he was not a kicker in high school. He was not a kicker in the college. He was a kickoff specialist. So he's pretty raw when it comes to just actually the mechanics of kicking. And I think you got a great point there, Matthew. I think he coached the kid up. He's going to get better and better and better with time as it goes on. So that could be what the coaching department sees with the Detroit Lions and just says, hey, we're going to be okay. We believe in our ability to coach them up. Sort of like I was referencing earlier with the offensive line. I think it's the same situation there. All right, got about another 5 minutes, guys. Then I got to jet on out of here and get ready for some coaching assignments. JDC, KC, good morning. Is that from Northern Southern, or Northern North UP? That's a great question, one I can't answer. KC, JDC, haha, I'm near West Branch at Lake House now, but heading to UP, have deer camp, and all right, we'll go have fun at deer camp. Matthew, I just wanted to, I like what I saw from Isaiah Williams. Can he keep going at that level and keep improving? Sounds like he has been putting in the work. No, and the coaching staff all talks highly of him, so I think he's got a real shot. Taylor Made, always good to see you, my friend. Run Hooker back out there versus the Chiefs. Stick with the plan. I agree. As long as the medical says okay, go with it. JDC, KC, Hookadoo, your camp would be north of me, hunting camp, life rocks. All right, there you go. Chuck E. Cheese, good morning, Duke Crew. Hooker looked good to me. Baki was also nice. Yeah, I agree on both of them. I think they both have significant upside. The Trim Reaper, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. Sud, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Let's go, Lions. Woo! Good morning to you too, Reaper. Lions King is HH number 2 since Sudfield stated in brass. I think right now, if you had to make a choice between the two, at least to me, Hendon Hooker would be the number 2. See, Casey, JDC, I went to Northern Michigan University back in the late 80s. Loved the UP, but could never live there again. Summer only and deer season. Oh, okay, fair enough. JDC, thumbs up. JDC, let the blanket the NFL war games begin. There you go. Dennis, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew, back at you. Hatman, Broski Bear, need a quarterback, not a locker room cheddarhead. Okay. Derek, good morning, Coach and crew. If Caleb and Jalen Daniels can't start in this league, don't you think Hooker would be just be prepared to be our backup? Yeah, I think there's a real chance maybe Hooker's time here in Detroit is just as a backup quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And who knows, 3 years from now, maybe he's ready to ascend to the starting spot. Maybe Goff signs a contract. But what you can say from the situation is the Lions organization would be in a very good position because now they can make choices. And it's better to have choices you don't need than options you don't have. See, Ryan called Teddy. They might, man. Roski, we'll see how long it takes Caleb to get up to speed. A preseason means absolutely nothing. So when the real games start, we'll see. The kid has an arm, and it's a natural leader. Well, we'll see how it goes, man. Casey, Hooker looked just as bad as Nate. Just because he wildcats a bit doesn't make him a QB. This is true. Phil, was Hooker concussed or was he pulled for being stupid? Question mark. The coaches may have been furious for him hitting and for his one read and run action. It could be all the above, man. But for now, I would say if they're putting out a false report that he was concussed, now that opens up the NFL, the door for the NFL to drop the boom on them. So I would assume he really is concussed. Buddy, Bridgewater. It could be. Let's see if his phone is ringing. Bo, backups. We're talking backups. Backups, how far we've come. There's a whole lot of truth to that, Bo. Hatman Broski, you will need 3 quarterbacks because Williams will be busy getting splinters and injured. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about guys who make one reads and run. I love him to death, but that was his MO in college. See, Phil, his son secretly making a deal for later in the season is maybe somebody is doing something like that. I'm not privy to it if someone is. All right, Casey Hatman, we're counting Williams as one of the 2 quality backups the Bears have. Laughing out loud. Sue, okay, is Sue secretly making a deal for later in the season? That I don't know, Phil. I do not. See, Hatman Broski, Williams is a starter and looking like trash. So your point is, okay. Let's move off the Chicago stuff. This Lions Talk Live, not Bears Talk Live. Let's see, Casey, neither Williams nor J.J. McCarthy are C.J. Stroud. Probably not. C.J. Stroud is C.J. Stroud. See, Phil, how do your female players look this year? We will see how they do, man. Hey, I always like to use the saying, we're 0-23 until you win a game. So you got to win a game to take losses off the board. So we'll see how it goes. See, Hetman Broski running game with Swift. There you go. Let's see, Bo, Fast and Furious Saturday. Happy trails to you all. All done and dusted. See y'all tomorrow. See you then, man. And hopefully have a great one, Bo. Phil, oh yeah. KC, Swift is a solid running back if he can stay healthy. This is true. I think he's decent if he can stay healthy. All right, about 3 more, and then I got to go. Hatman, Broski, you can say the same thing about Hooker. Fool, this is true. Don, so now the Bears are deeper than the Lions. Broski smoking that Chicago crack rock. There, hey, who knows what he does behind the private time. Michael, Phil think he meant Taylor Swift. Yeah, it could be Taylor Swift, 100%. See, Motown, green salutations, coach and the Duke crew. Lions rule, Bears drool. I'll go with that. Miles, laughing out loud. Age blaming youth for being late to the game. All right, I'll go with that. Let's see. Chuck E. Cheese Hooker will learn to slide correctly. Then he should be okay. He has a nice arm. He does, man. He needs some coaching up for sure. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure when he took off and ran, a lot of that is, he's a kid. He's, anxious. He's nervous. He's got a lot of energy flowing through him. We'll go that way. JC Phil, welcome to the club. Great Joe Walsh song. All right. Let's see. Trying to get somebody new here before we get off the air. JK had a dream Suffield got cut. Woke up excited. Well, let's see what happens. Elizabeth, good morning all. Back at you. Hopefully you have an outstanding one. Williams, green salutations. Hallelujah blue all the way. Exclamation points. Woo! I agree with that, Annie. Good morning to you. Man Bear, good morning to the Motley Dew crew. Ooh, I like that one. Elizabeth, how about quarterback A.J. McCarron? That's an idea. Casey, Jameson doing much better and improving, which is showing. Hooker yet to be determined, but not looking good so far. No, he's gonna need some time to grow and develop, like any rookie quarterback. Willard Broski Bear, you're out of line with that comment about Philippine women. Keep your comments out of the Lions football. Some people, yeah. Let's not go after anybody's nationality or anything. Come on, Broski, man. Don't do jazz like that, man. See, Dominic, I feel after the game, Vaki and Green have a spot on the roster. That's a real good point about, forgot to mention Green. He put in some work there, and I think that didn't go unnoticed with the coaches. Derek, if Caleb can start, then Jalen Daniels can start. I think Hooker can be a backup. Okay, I'll go with that. Gary, green salutations, Coach Ducro. I spent all night in the emergency room with my wife. I wanted to say thank you to everyone talking about the Lions and keeping my mind off something else this morning. Hey, well, thoughts and prayers, Gary. Hopefully everything's going okay. You need anything from me or the Duke crew, please reach out. So I hope you are okay. Willard, I live in the Philippines. Good to know. And yeah, Broski, yeah, don't take shots at other people. That's not cool, man. Willard, make sure you tune in Thanksgiving to watch the Bears maul the Lions. Okay, fair enough. Wouldn't know about what's going on in the U.S. with Philippine women coming here and becoming nurses. Okay, let's not talk about people's nationalities or anything. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to know. To Thomas, next time Hooker is out of the pocket and does not throw the ball away in a preseason game, I bench for a series. Keep him learning. Go with that. All right, guys, I got to get going. I've done as much as I can. Terrence, what do you got? We will never know if we got a wide receiver if there's not a backup quarterback competent enough to give them the ball. Yeah, a lot of truth there. They've got to do better. See, Ron J, what do you got? Who do you think will be the Lions' opponent in their division? Just real, 100% 3. The biggest opponent, I think, is going to be the Green Bay Packers. I think there is some argument that the Chicago Bears can be there, but I think it's going to come down to us and the Green Bay Packers, in my opinion. Detroit D, green salutations, everyone. Back at you. Let's see. Joseph C, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke crew. Go Lions. Woo! Hope everyone has a good day. Same to you, my friend. The Trim Reaper, smash that like and subscribe button, y'all. Have a great day, everyone. Same to you. All right, guys. I've gone and given as much time as I can. But see, Brent, happy trails, one pride. There you go. I got to get rolling, so I'm not late. So if there is some breaking news later today, I'll try to get it over to you guys when possible. If you would be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Take care. Have a great day. Enjoy your days. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until